And then he turns around and there's another guy running behind him with like a 9-inch machete, chasing him down the corridor. That was his first day of college. So I come from a council house, we didn't have no money. My life wasn't good, and I thought by getting money, my life's gonna be better. There's no plan B for us. If we have to go get a job, 24K, entry level, you gotta work your way up. So I painted on my wall 10K, and I pointed my desk towards it, and I said, like I have to hit it.
How do I actually do it? So when you say you spend 10 minutes a day with I,
there's a story in the Bible, Shoaib. Connects with all the things that makes life. I have a lot of knowledge, but Ethan, he's not so smart. I'm sitting and I'll see I'm the person who just saw that thought. I used to work in Mayfair cleaning dishes 4 or 5 years ago. I like going back to those same restaurants and now eating at them. If you don't know what to sell, get on more sales calls, you work it out. Don't know how to price it, get on more sales calls, you work it out. Don't know what your offer is, get on more sales calls, work it out. Like if you just have a lot of sales calls in your diary, you'll fix most of the other problems. I just made like 10 grand in the space of 24 hours. I thought I was him. Money flows through us. It's in our best interest to spend as much of it as quickly as possible. When I feel resistance, like I'm having a really difficult week, instead of me just pushing on and doing the next week, ask myself, well, where's the resistance coming from? That's a tough question. It's hard for me to say.
hello Ethan.
Hello, Shoaib.
Thank you so much for coming on to Rebels.
Thank you for having me. I've seen the clips. I'm looking forward to it.
It's an honour. I've been wanting to have you on the podcast for like quite a while now, and I was in London, so I thought, why not take the opportunity to speak to you? I feel like so much has happened in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So we've met once before, right? Twice,
yeah, we met at Matt Swain's thing. I think that was the only time though.
That was 2022, I think,
back.
or 2021 even.
Yeah.
And just since then, like so much has happened for yourself and for me as well.
Yeah.
Today, I want this episode to be really about like you, not LinkedIn, not personal branding. I want to know the story behind everything. Okay. I want to know the type of person that you are and the type of person it takes to achieve the success that you've had, but also be honest about all the shit that went wrong, because a lot of shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
So let's rewind a little bit. What was your first ever business?
The first ever thing I did, so I was in primary school, I was 9, and every day after primary school, we'd come down the hill and everyone's parents would give them like £1, £2 for shop.
Yeah.
And my mum would never give me £1, £2. She'd give me like 20p or something. And but I was back in the day, you could still buy penny sweets and stuff, so you could get something. Yeah. Everyone else was buying like Cadbury bars and I was buying little Coca-Cola balls. And I asked her every day for it. So one time she took me to Tesco and she gave me £1 and she made me buy a multi-pack of sweets. So I went to school and then I sold all the sweets. And I probably made like £4, but £4 when you're 9, I was balling, right? Because everyone else got £1 a day. And then by lunchtime, the teacher had found out that I was selling sweets. So she took my money, she took the sweets and she said I couldn't have them back. So I came down the bottom of the ramp to see my mum and she could see that I didn't have the bag of sweets. So she thought I sold them all. And I told her, no, the teacher took my money. So she marched me all the way back up. She walked into the classroom. She literally she didn't even start a conversation. She just started screaming, no way, you take my son's money. You take his sweets, there's no... Anyway, she proper kicked off, yeah? I got my £4.50 whatever back. I got the rest of the sweets back. And then they wrote a rule in the school handbook that you can't sell stuff on the playground. But that was the first business I ever started. My mum got me kicking.
I love that. I love that from your mum. What an icon.
My mum's done bits for me. I can't lie, man. She's really set me up.
I love that. I did a very similar thing, actually, now you mention it. Do you remember Match Attacks? The like football cards?
Yeah.
I used to like sell those. I'd like collect them. They used to be like 20p and you'd get like a pack of 5.
Yeah.
And I like collect them, trade them, and I'd go in and sell them. But like crazy, like £10 for like a card, like one card. Yeah. I think I made like a couple of £100, and then we had a school assembly, and it's like, you know, this is not allowed anymore, and then it became a policy. But that story is like so common with entrepreneurs.
It is. I've heard it from loads of people, but honestly, like none of mine worked. Like I never stuck at anything for long enough. I've got so many of those. Like I did the same thing in secondary school. Then I did it with sweets. I did it with chocolates. I've done it so many times. I was 17. I took 2 IKEA bags. Yeah. I walked up to the Sainsbury's like 20 minutes away. I filled it with bottles of water. I filled it with ice from the freezer. Then I walked another 20 minutes down to Crystal Palace Park, and I had a white T-shirt on that I wrote 50p water on, and I used to lug it around in the summer. But like I never stuck at anything for long enough. So I tried them for a bit. But then I realised like how much I'd have to do to just make like £100. But I've tried loads and loads and loads of little things as a kid,
Yeah, like a lot of labour goes into a lot of that stuff. But like, I bet every single time you learned something.
It was the entrepreneurial drive. I wanted to do something, but I'm also pretty like, if I can see something isn't worth it, I'll dead it off straight away. Like my A-levels for the first year, right? I decided I'm going to get my shit together. Like I'm turning 17, almost an adult. I'm going to stop being lazy. I'm going to really study. So for my first year of A-levels, I got 3 A's. One B was 1 mark off an A. So I almost smashed it. I grinded. I'm telling you, I've never done so much homework in my fucking life. And I got that piece of paper and I saw the grades and I just said to my mum, that was not worth it. Like, that was not, I hustled that year. Like, I did everything perfectly. I didn't get in any trouble. I was a changed student. Like, they brought me in, like, you changed so much, you're doing so well. And it just wasn't worth it. So then the next year, I got 2 E's and a U. Because I just, as soon as I realized it wasn't worth it, I'm not good at putting effort into things that don't, like, make sense to me, you know?
Yeah, I used to one then who, like, will try a lot of different things just to see what works and then go down that route.
Yeah, so I think so. Once I, now I call it, like, a path of least resistance. Like, I've got a mountain to climb to get to where I want to get to, but there's actually normally lots of different routes. And so I'll normally wait until I find the gentle sloping river and then take that one instead of the mountain.
Do you think you've found that now?
I'm finding it more and more. So like when I got to that, I say this a lot in my content, but I got to that like 10K a month point. And I tried for about 18 months to try and make more than 10K a month. I hovered between 10 and 15. And I think what it basically came down to is I had money. And my life had this much pain in it. And the money was much bigger than the pain of like doing work. So it was good. But then growing to like 20 or 30 or 40 required all this pain and suffering. And it wasn't making my life better. I wasn't even really spending the 10K a month I was making. So I could just never do it because it was just never worth it. Like I started working more hours and hustling harder, but my life wasn't getting better. But I think what I've realized is like, I was a cadet in school, 500-person organization. I wanted to be at the top of it. Like, I played football, and I was rubbish at football, but I captained the team because I like leading people. I like bringing groups of people together towards something and trying to hit it. And so now, me getting to 30, 40, 50, whatever, isn't just me trying to make more money. It's me trying to build a team of people that I like working with. And that's worth the pain. That isn't even really pain. Like, it's difficult.
Yeah.
But the upside of being someone who leads a team and brings together competent people versus the difficult bit, the upside's way bigger. So that, I think, is what's driving me now to keep going.
Yeah. So would you say, like, building teams is your biggest, motivator? Or is there something external that's, like, spurring you on every day? Like, why do you wake up every morning and work on the business and take on that pain?
I don't know if it's exactly building teams. I think building teams is the way it manifests. It's just, like, finding competent people and bringing them together. Like, Charlie on my team, he's 19. This kid is a fucking weapon.
Is he 9?
Exactly. Every time I say it to people, he's like 19.
That's mad.
This kid is a fucking weapon. I tell you, if I was built like that at 19, I would not, bruv. You'd be on my podcast. It would be a different situation. He is built different. And for someone to be that competent at 19 and then look at me and go, this is an opportunity that is better than doing my own thing. Like, that's what I want. I've got Charlie, Dana, Harvey, Shin. They're all people that are more than competent enough to do their own shit. But like, if we come together, we could do some big shit. And that gives me energy, man. I enjoy that.
How did you find, like, so many great people? Because it's really fucking hard.
It is hard.
Like, a lot of people are just not competent.
I agree. But how did I find them?
Was it through your, like, LinkedIn that you were able to...
I mean, pragmatically, it's through LinkedIn. But you see, before LinkedIn, I think I did find it very hard to find people. I was the most competent entrepreneur I knew, which meant I didn't know the right people because I was making like fucking $3,000 a month. But I just didn't know how to find them. I didn't think they existed. But since LinkedIn, I mean, I found you, I found Niall Ratcliffe, like all these people just, I don't know. I guess it's my personal brand, isn't it?
There we go.
Yeah, but yeah, just through LinkedIn, really.
How did you then go from like 3K a month, as you've just said, and like roughly, if you're willing to share, like what range are we talking today?
So today the business is doing, well, last month we did 31,000, so about $40,000, and the goal this month is 42,000. And because we made 2 sales today, we're bang on track to hit that by the end of the month. Pounds.
Amazing. So from 3K to say this month, like that's just been 10 times your growth. What did it take? What was the shift that caused that 10 times growth?
Shit, that is 10 times, isn't it? Not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. I think it came in stages. So first, the 0 to 3K was just, I just did shit. I knocked on doors on my high street. I said, does anyone want TikTok? A couple of people will pay me for it. I saw a networking event on Instagram as an ad, so I went to the networking event, got a couple of clients from that. I sent some cold emails, someone paid me for that. I just did shit and worked out how to get people to pay me for stuff. Yeah. That was like 3.5K a month. 3.5 to 10 was I'm doing all this random shit and producing random results. I just locked in fully to LinkedIn. I dropped everything that wasn't LinkedIn as a service, and I dropped everything that wasn't LinkedIn as my marketing and sales channel. And just by focusing on it, it didn't really take that long. From memory, so what isn't from memory is I decided I wanted to make 10K, and to be honest, I was getting kind of fucking tired of not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, Niall Ratcliffe starts his business, in like 11 days he hit 10K.
Yeah.
You were smashing 20. And I'd been going long before you guys, because I was doing Instagram and TikTok
Yeah.
and stuff. I was thinking, what the fuck is going on? Like, maybe I'm not built like how I thought I was built. I thought I was the guy because I'm selling sweets in the playground. But actually, up to that point, I tried lots of things, but I'd never made like money. I'd done okay, but never like that quick. So I was like, shit, maybe I'm not built for this. So I got some paint. I painted on my wall. I put this photo up sometimes. I painted on my wall 10K, and I pointed my desk towards it, and I said, like, I have to hit it. If I don't hit this shit in 90 days, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this business thing. It took 44 days for me painting it to go from the 3.5 to the 10. And then since then, we stayed there. 3.5 to 10 was just relentless focus. Like, I wake up, I've got one problem to solve. How to make 10K a month through LinkedIn. That's it. No email, no TikTok, no nothing else. I'm just going to focus here. And then 10 to 6 months ago, 20. And then 3 months ago, 30. That was, I think, kind of two things. One was, up till 10, I've been driven by pain. So I come from a council house. We didn't have no money. My life wasn't good. And I thought by getting money, my life's going to be better. And to some extent, that was true. But then my life became really good because I had loads of money relative to like what one human makes.
Yeah.
I wasn't escaping pain to get to 20. I was suffering more because I'd have to work more hours and struggle harder. So I think the first thing was I had to find a reason to suffer that wasn't just I need money because I didn't anymore. And then the second was I paid some people that fucking told me what to do. Like, I pay the strategy ladders team now. I pay them $5,500 a month, which is quite a lot for the size business that we're at.
Yeah.
But these guys know what they're fucking talking about. Josh, the guy that coaches me, he built a 3-year, in 3 years, he built a business to $40 million annual recurring revenue. Brian's built multiple businesses and his current is doing $4 million a year. Austin used to recruit for FTSE 500 companies, so his recruitment contracts would be like 1,000 employees at a time. But these guys have built 8-figure businesses. They know what they're doing. So partly I had to change like my reason. And then when I found it, I went to Brian and Josh and they've just shown me what to do.
Mm-hmm. How did you find that out though? Because so many people struggle with that in terms of like getting to the point where they know what they want to do. Instead, they just follow loads of different things. And maybe you were doing that at the beginning, just like trying everything.
Yeah.
How do you narrow down and how do you know what's the right thing to narrow down on?
I think it comes back to that thing I was saying before. So I had this coach, Camelia. And one thing she taught me is that I always used to think I'm lazy. So I set myself a to-do list and I won't do it. But what she made me realize is I can't be lazy because I'm 9 and I'm hustling sweets in the playground. And when I'm 17, I decided I want to focus on my studies. Like I smashed my grades. Yeah. So clearly when it means something, I can do it. Maybe it's not that I'm lazy. It's that when I don't find things meaningful, I hate the word purpose-driven. I feel like it's so overused and moist. Yeah. But like, I must be purpose driven, right? Because when I find meaning and purpose in things, I can kill them. And when I just don't find meaning and purpose, I can't be bothered. I just completely fall off it. And I think what she taught me to do is when I feel resistance, like I'm having a really difficult week, instead of me just pushing on and doing the next week, ask myself, well, where's the resistance coming from? At 10K, it was coming from the fact that I liked LinkedIn a bit and I liked ghostwriting a bit, but I didn't love it. And so it wasn't worth doubling the number of clients to make more money because it wasn't worth trying to work out how to double my prices or any of this stuff because I didn't really love it. But like building a team and leading people and putting competent people together, I love doing that shit. I could do it effortlessly all day. And so I think I found my thing by just doing stuff and then thinking, what's the path of least resistance here? Like, what am I finding really easy to do and comes naturally and I'm getting fast results? And what's a grind? Like cold email was a grind. So I just clocked that. LinkedIn, I could kind of write it was kind of fun, and especially in the beginning. All right, now I've written so many posts, it's a bit, but in the beginning, it was fun. Like, and I was good at it, and I picked it up fast, and I was meeting people, and I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this. I'm getting fast results in this. Cold emails are fucking grind. I'm not liking it. Let me do more of the thing that I'm enjoying. Yeah. And I think just through doing that again and again and again, I've got here. But I'm still not 100% there. Like, I don't think this is going to be the thing I'm doing in 3, 5, 10 years. But I'm closer than ever to my week being the week that I want. And every week I just look and I think, well, I don't like this bit. I'm not good at this bit. I'm not getting good results from this bit. Let's pivot and go more towards the stuff that's working for me, you know? Yeah,
I think some people just take too long to pivot. I've made that mistake. I say to some people, I mean me. And you stick at something because you're comfortable with it. You're someone who strikes me as like you'll move quick, you'll make decisions fast, and you're not really worried about how that will look. Would you agree?
In most areas of my life, I can think of one area of my life that I'm not going to mention that I'm not good at making decisions quickly.
Okay.
But in most other areas of my life, yeah, as soon as I've got information that there's a better way of doing things, my mate Nick always says, strong beliefs loosely held. I'll back whatever I'm doing, but then as soon as someone makes me realize there's a better way to do it, I'll just change on the spot. I'm quite fast at changing my behavior, I think.
Mm-hmm. What is that 3-5 year trajectory? What does it look like? Where are you going? Because at the moment it seems like revenue targets are rising. You want to, I'm assuming, scale your team. Like, what's the end goal?
So the coaching I do with clients starts with the core problem that most people have pre 30K, which is I don't have enough leads. Getting enough leads in the diary solves most other problems. Because if you don't know what to sell, get on more sales calls, you work it out. Don't know how to price it, get on more sales calls, you work it out. Don't know what your offer is, get on more sales calls, work it out. Don't know how to build a team, get on more sales calls, make some money, hire a coach, etc., etc. Like if you just have a lot of sales calls in your diary, you'll fix most of the other problems because it generates income to fix those problems. But like the other problems, that's the bit I find fun because those are more infinite.
What are the problems?
Like, how do I incentivize my team to want to build a 7-figure business when they don't own it? So for example, on the front end, most people know that salespeople make a commission because then they're incentivized to go and make more sales. But then on the back end for delivery, most people don't give their team a commission. They just pay a writer to write. Whereas the way we set things up, our coaches get 12.5% of the calls they shadow on, 25% of the clients that they own, and 40% of the clients that they bring into the business themselves and then they coach. Like 40% is a pretty big chunk to give an employee. But it means that Charlie, despite not being in his job description, he is responsible for increasing customer LTV. He is responsible for reducing churn because he knows that if I can make the program better, I'm going to make more money. His incentives are aligned to what the business wants, which is reach 7 figures. I don't think a lot of people are doing that.
No, they're not.
But my coaching conversations start with LinkedIn, but then they transition into that stuff, and that's the shit I enjoy. Like how I build systems around people to achieve things. I find that way more interesting. Lead gen's important. I'm glad I got the skill. It's still what we do. But longer term, I just want to know how you build businesses, and I want to be able to consult people on that shit, you know?
Do you think you'll always be in like this particular industry, or do you think you'll apply everything you've learned one day and pivot into something else?
I think that, so there's a story in the Bible, Shoaib,
tell me it.
where Moses is one of the slaves, and then his mum puts him in a basket, and he floats up the river, and then he gets to go and live in the palace. And so he comes from these two worlds. Yeah. He is a slave, but he's raised in one of the best environments in around, right? That's kind of what's happened to me. I've come from the hood, council house, no money, free school meals, all that kind of thing. But then my mum, she had me studying from really young. That's why I say my mum set me up. She had me studying from young. So like in year 6, when everyone did their SATs, I did them in year 3. I'm a kid. I'm not responsible for this. My mum set me up. Yeah. We didn't have no money. She worked at an IT company. She built me a computer from scrap parts so that I could like learn shit. I won an IT award despite not being able to afford a computer. Like my mum set me up. So she sent me to schools to do tests, and I didn't know what she was really doing. I was just doing the tests. So the school I went to, Wilson's, it was ranked like top 3 for GCSE A-level results in the country. So on the one hand, I'm coming home to the hood. We got no P's. Yeah. I come to school and I'm with like the smartest kids in the country, and I'm still competent there, you know. And so I got kind of these two worlds, kind of like the same as the Moses story in the Bible, right? So then, long story short, Moses is in the palace, and then one day he kills a guard because they're doing something to one of the slaves, and he gets kicked out. I'm not going to kill anyone, but if we skip that bit of the story, he then goes on this journey. He finds his wife. He goes out into the desert, and then one day he sees a burning bush. And God calls him over, and he says, Moses, I need you to do some shit. I need you to go back. I need you to speak to the Pharaoh. I need you to free the Israelites. He gave Moses purpose. Yeah. Like, this is me in the palace.
Got you.
I came from an environment, and I've learned exceptional skills that the people I grew up with didn't have access to. Like, there's a guy I met on the basketball court a couple of years back now. And it was actually just summer, and he was sitting on a bench, all dressed up, robe man, hood up, everything. And he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, I feel like I know this guy, but I can't remember why. And he comes over to me like, Ethan. And I was like, yeah. I can't remember the guy's name. But we went to primary school together. As soon as he saw who I was, and he knew that I know the bad man, but I'm not bad man. I'm kind of in it, but I'm kind of not in it. Mm-hmm. As soon as he saw that, his whole demeanor changes. His hood comes off. He's talking normal, he's friendly, he's nice, and we're just getting along again, yeah, catching up. And then a couple guys come who are also all hooded up. And I see them, I look back, and instantly the guy's back in bad man mode. And I said to him, like, why do you act like that? Because I know who you are, and you just showed me who you are, and now these other people are coming over and you're acting all bad again. He said to me, what happened on your first day of college? So I came in and they made us sign a contract. This is a top school. Commitment to education. You will do these things, and you've got a 4-strike system. On the 4th strike, if you don't complete your homework, respect teachers, blah, 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 we're going to kick you out. He said on his first day of school, he's walking through the corridor, and some guy blows past him. And he's thinking, what the fuck? And then he turns around, and there's another guy running behind him with like a 9-inch machete, chasing him down the corridor. That was his first day of college. My first day of college is, if you don't get your shit together, you're leaving. His first day of college is, you need to protect yourself, because you might be that guy. Like, my mum sending me to that school, it just gave me access to things that other people didn't get. I knew the whole time I was in school, we were all going to get 60K jobs. Everyone's a doctor or a lawyer or a banker. It was the minimum standard in my school. You got bullied for getting a B. Yeah. You know, like that was just the environment I was in as a kid. And I knew it wasn't the only environment because I was coming back to a different one. Yeah. But that was the standard that was set for me. That's Moses in the Palace. I got to see like, oh, the top education. It's a free school, but I got to see like, oh shit, everyone's mum's got a Mercedes or a BMW. This is normal. Like Range Rovers aren't that expensive. They just feel it when you're poor. And now I'm going to continue learning shit in the Palace, and then I'm going to go wander off. And then one day God's going to give me a burning bush, and he's going to say, this is what I want you to do with all the shit that you've learned. Yeah. I don't know what that thing is, but that's what I'm waiting for.
Love it. I feel like most people don't know what that thing is yet. And that's,
agreed.
That's like fine. Like figure it out along the way. And you'll probably just accidentally come across it.
Yeah, agreed.
I want to know, Ethan, outside of business, how would someone who's not in the business world, has never worked with you in like a business capacity, how would they describe your character?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Because I'm just interested in the people, like the psyche behind those who go on to achieve success and what type of person that is. Because I ask a lot of people this, you know, like across all the clients I've worked with, for me to do the work that I do, I need to really know them inside out. And like 95% of them all say the same thing.
Do they?
So I'm just intrigued as to...
Interesting. Now I've got to try to give a 5% answer. I'm trying to think. My friend Nick, how would he describe me?
Is this Nick Chamberlain?
Yeah. Went to school together. Known each other since we were 11. I think he described me as competent. Mm-hmm. I think he would say I'm pretty generous. I think he would say... It's hard for me to say. Cause it is hard. It's trying to like gas myself up. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not really sure.
I've known you for like 3 years-ish now. Yeah. I'd say like the word is like relentless. That's what comes to mind. I don't know if you would agree with that, but from an outsider's perspective, like you are relentless with... You're very resilient as well.
I think you've got it, but you just reminded me of something that Camellia said to me. It's that like I'm like it's like a soft relentless. Like there is this just masculine drive to get shit done, but not like in a loud way necessarily. I'm pretty relaxed. Like I'm normally the quiet one. I don't really say too much, or I'm not too active, but I've still got that intense drive to just get shit done. Yeah. But not like in a hustle, bro. I'm out, like I go to the gym every day, but I don't need to wear a vest to show everyone how big my arms are. I'm just kind of like, you know, focused in a quiet way, I think.
Mm-hmm. Outside of business then, like how are you spending your time? What are you doing? What are you working on?
Honest answer?
Yeah.
I'm enjoying having some fucking money for the first time in my life, man. I can't lie. Straight up, like I think a big part of that getting stuck at 10K thing as well was just... I've been poor my whole life. Like everyone in my house, everyone in my family are cleaners and caretakers and dinner ladies, and I can just buy a Gucci bag. Like you can just walk in a shop and buy it, you know? So honestly, I travel quite a lot. I've been in Mexico City for the last few weeks. I was in Portugal just after that. I'm going to Rome later in the year. I'm going back to Mexico City. I like going to nice restaurants. Like I used to work in Mayfair, like cleaning dishes, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I like going back to those same restaurants and now eating at them.
In the diner.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool.
I love that.
But beyond that, I don't know if I do that much elaborate shit. I go other places, I eat nice food, and I connect with people. I like meeting people, you know?
in terms of like meeting business people, from somebody who came from a background that you might not have had business owners like accessible to you immediately, how have you found all these mentors and people? Like, how have you surrounded yourself with people to achieve that growth?
Everyone I know now comes from LinkedIn.
Really?
Everyone I know, like personal, professional, and I think the reason. So I've started posting on Instagram. I started running a couple ads against.
I saw.
Yeah. I started getting active again because it's made me realize like I'm in this room because of LinkedIn. Everyone I know, everything I do, I've met these people through LinkedIn. Like the group that I hang out with right now, my friendship group has changed. But I met them because I met a coach on LinkedIn. He introduced me to Kaz. Kaz and I became friends. And they were kind of Kaz's mates, and now I've become one in their group. Yeah, it's having a personal brand. I was kind of, I remember when we both started, I was kind of like anti the personal brand thing. I was like, I'm here to make money. I don't give a fuck about people knowing me and shit. But like, now all the people in my local environment, it's kind of hard to meet people, especially in London, right? If you're not going out to clubs and bars and drinking, it's not that easy to meet people in London. Like it's quite, if you're not doing it in a digital way, starting conversations with strangers in London is tough. Yeah. Mexico is fucking effortless. You can walk up to anyone, everyone wants to talk. People invite me around for dinner. They know me like 15 minutes. Come round, we'll eat. I'll get a couple of people around. I need to introduce everyone, like as a community vibe. Yeah. London's not like that, man. Like I always say, if you can thrive here, you can thrive anywhere. Like London is life on expert difficulty mode. Everyone just wants to make everything fucking difficult. Everything's fucking expensive. If you can kill it here, everywhere else is going to be easy. But LinkedIn has given me access to just be able to find the people that I want to find. You know, I want to know you and Niall and Kat and all these people. And I don't meet them in real life. I meet them online.
Love that. It's so good because it's like democratized like knowledge and just made it accessible to everybody, right? What would you say, based on your like current LinkedIn and the growth that you've had across it, what is your sole objective for using it now? Is it purely just like business? Is it to level up? Is it to meet other people? Like, how do you use LinkedIn?
Now, because my team's on it, it's purely for lead generation. Yeah, there's nothing. Before, it was a bit more of a blend. I think it's a reflection of how the business has changed. Before, my business was a lifestyle business. Yeah. So I was using it for lifestyle. I was using it to make some money, but I was using it to meet some people and do shit. Whereas now, because I'm running a team of people, LinkedIn supports them. Like they all get paid a cut of the work that they do. And so I need to bring in sales so that they have shit to do, basically. So it's just purely for that.
Yeah. That kind of responsibility, like, do you thrive under that, or is that like on the back of your mind all the time? Is that motivation, or is that a bit of pressure?
It's pressure, but it's helping me grow quickly. Yeah. Like this month has been the first month I've had an actual team. Like I hired Shin and Charlie 4 or 5 months back, but that was kind of like, I'm a freelancer. I got some people helping me. Like we got team meetings. There are people who are under my remit, but even as I say that under my remit, because I'm quite I'll just say to them what I'm thinking. I think I'm good at this. I think I'm not good at that. I'm stressed about. I just speak openly, and I think the thing I've realized is that this football team I used to captain, right? I tried everything with these men. I tried everything. Like I was angry with them. I was nice to them. I was supportive. I was critical. I tried all the different angles. But what I fundamentally realized is it was a Sunday league team, and they were okay turning up and losing 4-0. They were all right with it. It was just football. And it is just football, but like, I don't want to turn up to lose. We're playing a competitive game. I didn't pick something that was casual. I picked something where one of us wins. So for 90 minutes, I want to fucking win, and I want to act like I want to win, you know? And I just realized I'm not good at leading people that don't want to win. I'm only good if Charlie's a weapon and I know how to use a weapon. Like we can come together and hit something. But if Charlie was kind of I wouldn't be able to help him. And so I think I've realized that while I feel responsibility for my team, they're not those kind of people. With Harvey's joined the team, training plan's gone out the window. He's just fucking selling shit. Like he's come in, he's had no training whatsoever on how to close deals. He's closed 2 already. He used my outreach process for the first 3 days, understood it. Now he's doing his own thing. He is going somewhere with or without me. It's just my job to kind of help him, guide him along the path, because maybe I'm a couple steps ahead. Yeah. I feel less pressure now because I've realized that I'm not hiring people that need me. I'm hiring people that will be fine on their own. And it just so happens if we come together, we'll do something better.
So interesting. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. Why do you think your team is growing and achieving success like so quickly? I don't know, like gas you up, but like I'm going to gas you up. it's really hard to do that and get people really motivated and aligned with where you want them to go. Your team seems like super on it. They're active online. They're posting. Like, they are obviously making sales. Your business is growing like at a record rate. What type of leadership does that require? What's your like tactic when it comes to managing people? Like, clearly you're doing something right. Can you pinpoint what techniques you're using? Have you had coaching on that, by the way?
Nah. I think, first of all, I've been doing it from young. Like, so we used to do cadets at school.
Yeah.
And we basically, there's 500 people in our cadet organization. So it's a lot of fucking kids. It's like 2 schools are linked up to do it. And you start in these groups of 9. It was me and this guy, Josh, in the same group, coincidentally. And it was a battle to the top. Like, from day one, I looked at the top one and I said, I want that shit. And Josh wanted the same thing. And the whole time we battled all the way up. Kind of the sides of the story. So one of the reasons I ended up sacking school off in the second year, I started smoking weed when I was 17. I started realizing, well, the grades thing wasn't working, so I'm going to try some other shit. Started going to parties. My school was super strict. If you smoked cigarettes outside of school, you got kicked out. Like, there was no tolerance. They didn't get the top 3 GCSE results for no reason. Yeah. Like, there were super high standards. Top button undone once, hour after school. Top button undone twice in a week, 3 hours on a Saturday for a button being undone. These were standards, and I wasn't hitting them, right? And basically, Josh got the top spot. Josh was a better fit for it. I was too, like, just relaxed, whereas Josh was a bit more on it. But I was going to get the second spot. And the week before I got the promotion, the school found out that I was smoking weed. And they said, you can't have it. We're going to demote you, and you can't get any more promotions. I grinded on that shit for 4.5 years. It was the only thing I loved about school, and I didn't get it. So that was peak. I say this to say, I've been doing this from young. I was always I'm not that good at football, but I can pull people together. So let's just, I always kind of took that role. So I guess some of it's not conscious. I don't really know what I'm doing. But I think the thing I have consciously done is align incentives. Charlie gets a cut of the people that he keeps. I'm not just telling him to increase LTV. It benefits him to increase LTV. Yeah. Charlie wants to build a 7-figure business, and he's watching me doing it. And I pull him into as many things as possible because he wants to get there. I want to get there. Harvey wants to make 100K. He has the capacity to make 100K as a 19-year-old in his sales role. Everyone's incentives are aligned. So I think a part of it is just shit that I don't know I'm doing yet, so I can't really talk about. And the other is that I didn't set this up for me to make money. I set this up. The goal in my head is everyone in the business makes 100K. And if we can do that, the business makes 1.5 with 7 people. I'm going to make like $500,000 a year if I pay everyone 100K. So I'm more than happy to share it with them because then all of our incentives are aligned to get something,
Oh, I love that, man. So when it comes to the lifestyle versus like empire, clearly you're now going towards like, bigger, more people, potentially more revenue. But at the beginning, it was, like you said, lifestyle. Which is better?
I was talking to my friend about this kind of the other day. I think first and foremost, it's like there's nothing. I said this literally to a client, right? He's doing about 100K a year, and he keeps talking about wanting to build a big business, but he's running 2 things at once. And I keep saying to him, if you want to build a big business, you're going to get rid of the one that isn't making money, and you're going to go all in on the one that is, and just focus, lock in for 5 years and build it. But you aren't doing that. You're saying with your mouth you want to build something big, but your behavior is showing me you want to do shit that you enjoy. And like, that's okay. That's the thing I had to come to terms with around the 10K point. Like, I didn't want to build big shit. I was saying I wanted to build big shit, but now that I had a bit of money, I realized I fucking don't. I want to not be poor, and I'm here. So I think first and foremost, like, there isn't better. It's what is my behavior saying I am? My behavior says that I'm pretty cool just making a bit of money and enjoying my life, which is completely fine. And instead of me trying to change my behavior to fit this narrative of what I should be doing, why don't I just accept what I am doing and who I am? I think that's the first thing. The reason I changed, though, is because I enjoyed it for a bit, but then who I actually am is that same person that at 9 started selling sweets on the playground and wanted to have more. And as a cadet, wanted to get straight to the top from day one. And as a captain of a football team, decides that I can't play football, but I'm going to try. That's who I've always been. And so while I enjoyed the lifestyle stuff for a bit, I was missing some shit. And the thing I was missing was I want competent people to come together so we can achieve big things. So I don't think there's one better or the other. It's just I know it's more aligned for me to keep building for the sake of building.
Your business has gone through quite a few iterations since you've been on LinkedIn and kind of what your service has been. Talk me through that, like the ups and downs of the last 3 years.
Yeah. I can remember the downs. I'm not very good at the ups sometimes.
Talk me through the downs, because I don't feel like people do that enough.
So we were selling TikTok one time, and the contracts were like £1,000 a month-ish. Those are my biggest ones. And then one time I was on a call with someone, and it was a very different vibe. I wasn't used to speaking to people that were making money. And because I was like knocking on local doors in my high street and stuff. I was finding people at networking events. I wasn't speaking to proper business owners. And I got on a call, and the vibe was just completely different. And I said, what do you do? And he did something I didn't understand. And then the question I always ask is, how much revenue are you making? They say, I'm not making any money. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe we can do something on TikTok. And I asked him, how much revenue are you doing? He's like, yeah, last year we did 3.5, and this year we're on track to do 8. Wow. I was like, what, 1,000? He was like, mil. And I was trying to not be shocked. And literally, as soon as he said that, I thought, if I say £1,000, he's going to laugh at me. Yeah. Like, he doesn't even register £1,000. That's how much he spends on that. I have to say a big number. So he said, so what do you do? TikTok. He's like, how does it work? And I said some shit. And he's like, all right. He's like, how much is it? I said, it's $5,000. And he's like, all right, send me an invoice. We'll sort it out today. The sales call took 8 minutes. I'm on calls with people for 45 minutes trying to close for £200. It took 8 minutes and he sent me $5,000. And I was like, what the fuck? And then literally the same day, the next call, I must have been on a streak of like attracting bigger people. The next call I get on, I said, how much revenue are you doing? He said, yeah, we did 3 more last year. And I was like, all right. And he's like, how much is it? It's like, it's $5,000. And he said, all right, we'll send it today. And I was like, what the fuck? I've just made like 10 grand in the space of 24 hours. I thought I was him. Yeah. I'm out, I'm hiring people, I'm building a team, I'm spending all the money on shit. That month, I made 13K. The next month, I was down 4 or 5K negative because I'd spent the whole fucking thing. I'd hired a team, I bought loads of software and shit, I got myself a new laptop, I spent it all because I thought I'm a big boy entrepreneur. Neither of those two people paid me for a second month because I was shit at what I was doing. I didn't know how to deliver for 5K, I just knew how to say the number. And that month I quit. I was 50-50 with a partner. I took my shares off, I gave them the shares and I gave up. And I went to my mum and I said, I'm gonna go get a job. And then we started looking at jobs. And I clocked. I just closed 2 people for 5K a month. I just like made 10K in the space of a day. And then the social media jobs I was looking at, social media don't pay.
Social media does not pay.
Social media doesn't pay. There's no plan B for us. If we have to go get a job, I'm talking 24K, entry level, you got to work your way up. And I was thinking, I've just closed 2 people, made 10 grand revenue in a day. And now I'm going to have to work for like 1.2 a month for 10 years to maybe get a decent salary. Bear in mind, I've gone to a school where all my mates are like 2 years into their careers. They're investment bankers. They're all doing 100K, 150K now. This guy's a doctor, and I'm accepting 24K as a social media guy. And I was like, I've got to give it one more go, innit? Like, I can't, this is not a viable option. So I came back to it and then, eventually got here. But yeah, that was a literal crying on my floor at 3 a.m, stressed. Like, I actually can't do this. Like, I'm not the person I thought I was. But just stuck it out, so.
Yeah, that's insane. So, is it true that at one point you were considering just like becoming a caretaker?
Yeah, that was literally that. Because my mum is a facilities manager. Now she's a head of estates, but she started as a caretaker. So at the time, she was telling me about things that she knew, and she was trying to, I completely forgot about that. But yeah, that was that moment.
Oh, wow, that's so interesting. So when you got back into it, what changed? Like, how was it different the second time round?
That, I think, was the last time I just said a big number because I could say a big number. I changed my perspective on pricing. I'm too conservative with my pricing. The amount of people that I get on a call and they say, like, I just closed the guy today. He paid a coach $4,000 for 3 months or something. He's had 4 of his mates mention us, which I thought was sick, by the way. But he's had 4 of his mates mention us, so he came to us. And then he said, I can clearly see you guys are better. How much is it? And for him, I won't say the price in case it changes by the time the podcast comes out. But we quoted him a good price. And he said, like, oh shit, that's way cheaper than the other guy. I already know you guys are better. He ended up closing. I'm very conservative on my pricing, I think, because of some of the mistakes I made early on. But it's also because, one, I don't want to leave a graveyard of bodies. Like, I've worked with 170 people now. You know, even back in the early days, I always had this feeling I wasn't doing enough for people. Like, whenever a client left, I just associated client leaving with, I must have done a shit job, which logically doesn't make sense because people leave, but that's how I felt. But the amount of people like Reza, for example, he's come back again and again and again, and I don't believe in my heart I've given him the best results, but he's referred me 3 people and come back 3 times. So I must have done something okay. Matt Proctor's the same. He keeps referring me people. He's come back 3 times. I don't feel I've done the best I could possibly do, but then why would he keep coming back and why would he keep paying me? I think it's because I don't know if pricing is the way to solve it, but it's the way I solve it. I would just rather say a number and know I can back. Like I know we could over deliver for this number. Like I know we could probably say a bigger number and you still be okay.
Yeah.
But I know you'll pay this and you'll be very, very fucking happy. So I think that's one thing I changed. I started pricing based on what number are they going to pay where there's 90% chance they're happy they made the investment after they see what it is. And two, I just got a little bit more aware of what I can handle. I used to just fill up my plate with pressure until I had too much and I melted. And I would just go through these big cycles of like, I'm on top of the world. I've closed 2 people at 5K. I'm the fucking guy. So let me pile on the pressure. Let me start hiring people. Let me spend all the money. And then I would just crash. And then I would say, all right, let's take a bit more chill this time. And then I'd pile up the pressure. It would get too much and I would crash. And I would just go up and down, up and down. Whereas now I know like this week, probably not this week because I've had a good week, but last week definitely, I was just tired. Like it got to Wednesday and I was just physically exhausted. And now I know that's not a sign to keep going. That's a sign of where is this lack of energy coming from? What needs to change about my diary or the pressure I'm putting on myself or whatever it is so this becomes more sustainable going forwards? I think I just got better at listening to myself. And I can see earlier when if I continue this behavior, I'm going to crash. So let's do something about it now.
How did you get to that point though when you're like so self-aware? Did you have, was it therapy? Was it some coaching? Like...
Yeah, it was coaching. I think I've always been like relatively self-aware, but there was a whole world I wasn't aware of because people use words like, what did I say earlier? Being purpose-led.
Purpose-driven.
Yeah. And all this fucking nonsense. And like people that talk about meditation and people that talk about spirituality, just there's so many wafflers that I just wasn't interested in any of it. But I think Camellia was the first person who talked about that stuff, but was a consultant at Deloitte. And like made a lot of fucking money and was closing clients for like 100K a year. It's big CEOs, like really competent people. And she's sitting there doing all this movement stuff with music and shit. I'm like, okay, maybe she's onto something because she's clearly competent. Like this isn't just some spiritual woo-woo person who's gone off to Bali to find himself. Like she's doing big shit, but she's doing it in this really like balanced and measured way. It's really her that has been teaching me to, just to spend time with myself. Before her, I didn't really get what meditation was. Everyone talks about meditation like you just got to sit there and like get peaceful and shit. And it didn't really work. I now understand that meditation is just spending time with myself. Like I'm not my hand because if I drop off my hand, I'm still here. So I can't be my hand. I'm not the table because if the table goes, I'm still here. So I can't be the table. But that means that anything I observe, I can't be. Which means I'm also not my feelings because they come and go too, but I'm still here. I'm also not my thoughts because they come and so when I strip back all the things I can observe, I am the thing that's left. And I know what I'm fucking doing. I have like knowledge that expands well beyond what I can do in my physical form because I am the iteration of like so many humans that come one after the other. I am like the spirit that connects with all the things that makes life. I have a lot of knowledge. But Ethan, he's not so smart. He gets stressed when he's having a bad sales week or he gets pulled all over the place because of how he's feeling or the things he's thinking. So if I can just spend more time with not all the external stuff, that person kind of knows what to do. That person is pretty good at like guiding me on what the next step is. But I'm not spending enough time with him. I'm just getting stressed and just sitting down and working anywhere. I'm having a bad day and I just push through and do my meetings. Whereas if I just spend 10 minutes a day with he'll help me see that you're stressed because of this or this imbalance in your life is making you feel this way and it's helping me a lot.
But practically, how? Because I think I'm where you were in the sense of I see this and I'm like, clearly it's working for these people, but like on a practical level, is it bullshit? Or, how do I actually do it? So when you say you spend 10 minutes a day with what's happening in those 10 minutes?
I'm sitting and it's like a rep at the gym. So I'm noticing myself noticing. So I'll sit there quiet and I'll see my thought and I'll see I'm the person who just saw that thought. That's like one rep.
Okay.
And then I'll sit there and I'll notice a feeling in my stomach and I'll see I'm not the feeling, I'm the one seeing the feeling. That's 2 reps. And you just sit there for 10 minutes and you just notice yourself as much as you can. And some days I'll notice myself twice and I'll be lost in thought. Other days I'll notice myself loads because I'm really locked into that I thing. It's just really intangible thing that's hard to grasp. But that's it. And personally, I just find that 10 minutes a day, I don't do it every day, but that 10 minutes a day just helps me when in the moment I'm feeling something. Say before this I was nervous or something. Yeah. It would be more likely I would see I am not nervous. I feel nervousness, but I just am. I can't feel anything. I just exist. And so I can separate myself from that feeling and just come into this a little bit more like measured and centered, you know? Centered is the word. There's a center inside me that isn't any of my feelings, thoughts, none of it.
Yeah.
And it's just spending time in that center.
Got you. So that's one aspect of like coaching that I know you've invested in, but you've also like invested in lots of different types of coaching. You're somebody who will spend money to learn and then go apply and then benefit from it. There's a lot of people that I work with who are like reluctant to spend because of this like scarcity mindset that they have. How important is it to like reinvest? And what's your strategy for that? Like, how do you decide who to invest in and then actually do the stuff they say?
I have no value in money. I don't value money at all. Like, I remember one time, me and Nick, when we were still 50-50, we had like £40 left in a bank account. And we had to pay rent with this money. Like, I'd quit my job. And I said to him, we should just order Uber Eats, man. Like, we're broke anyway. What are we doing with this £40? I'm hungry. Let's just eat. To me, I now realize what I was saying in that moment is money is a tool. Like, in of itself, it doesn't mean anything. It's only valuable when you spend it. And so I've just never really thought if I can afford something or not. Like, if I literally have the money and I don't need it tomorrow, I just spend it like on things I want to learn on. Like, my thing is I get Uber everywhere. My Uber, I spend like over $1,000 a month on Uber, and I spend over $1,000 a month on Uber Eats. I spend bad money.
Really?
Bro, because I want to get from A to B, and how much it costs is not a reason to do it. I believe to my heart and soul, I'm going to work out how to build a 7-figure business. I believed it when I was making no money. I believed it when I had £40 in my bank account, so I spent on Uber Eats. I'm going to work it out. So there's no point holding on to this money that I have now. I spent, 4 years, I didn't save anything. In 2.5 months, I got a tax bill from, this is a good one. I got a tax bill from the UK, right? So I just started making like 20K.
Yeah.
No, I'd been making 10K, but you know the tax bill doesn't come till the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that first year, I thought, I'm up now. 10K a month, I'm good. I must have got a letter, and it had been sitting there for time, and I never opened it. I don't know why this particular one I didn't open. And I opened it, and it basically said, in 20-something days, you need to pay $8,000 tax bill. And I had no money in the account because I wasn't saving at all.
Shit.
And I had everyone's wages to pay at the end of the month. It basically worked out I needed about 15K by the end of the month. And I only made like 10K a month at the time. So I was like, shit, like it's time to fucking go, yeah? I went from that position to 2.5 months later, having 30K stacked in an account. The whole time everyone was telling me to save, I didn't. I just spent it on being present, enjoying my life, learning shit from you and Nile and all these people. And I built a person and a skill set that meant in 2.5 months, I could just stack 30K because I needed to. The pressure helped a little bit. But I think that's kind of my point. Like, if I genuinely believe to my fucking core, I'm going to be somebody who builds a 7-figure business at 50% margin, I'll save 50K a month. So until I'm there, now that I've got a bit of like safety, I just might as well fucking spend it. Like, do you know what I mean? Why am I sacrificing more money for getting the bus when I don't want to? Why am I sacrificing more money for not ordering the food I want to eat or go to the place I want to go to? Like, it's a tool. Use it, you know?
100%. Like, I've had this before in the past. Like, when you don't come from loads of money, like, your immediate thought is, I need to like save this. I need to stretch this further. I think at school, like, we were taught in all our like PHSE, I don't know if you did that at school. It was like the social, personal, whatever. And all we were taught is like how to like budget, how to save money. And it was never like how to earn more money.
Yeah.
And that's a difference now. Like, so many people, including myself when I first started, I was like, okay, I've made a bit of money. I need to like save it. So there's literally zero value in that because inflation's going to outweigh it anyway.
Agreed.
So when it comes to you spending money, like, apart from Uber, where's all your money going? Like, what are you investing? Are you investing this money into anything? Or are you investing in like experiences and like day-to-day pleasure, satisfaction, convenience, ease?
It's convenience. Convenience and education. It's like these coaches, I pay them $5,500 a month. Just book like one-to-ones with people or whatever I want to learn. Yeah. That's my big like education investment right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just convenience. Like, I'm never going to do something to save money at the expense of convenience. If there's a thing I want to eat, I'm going to eat it. If it's the place I want to get to and it's faster to get an Uber. The Uber here was 1 hour and 20. The train here was an hour. So I got the train.
Yeah.
Because it would have been less convenient to get the Uber. Yeah. I know the traffic would have fucked me up. But I was tempted to get the Uber anyway. Because I'm thinking the extra 20 minutes and I can just sit there and he's going to drop me exactly where I want to go. And it's just, I use money for convenience. You see that bag over there, yeah? That's a Gucci bag. The only reason I bought that shit was because I'd stacked about 25K in my account and I was nervous. Every day I'm checking my Stripe account. Every day I was always thinking about money. And I was like, objectively, 25K is more than I'd ever seen in my fucking life. I've barely seen more than like 2,000, 3,000.
Why were you nervous?
Because I was just stressed about money still. I still attached to this idea that like my value, my worth, my safety was how much money was in my account. And so the reason I bought that bag was literally just to prove that if I took 1.6K and I burnt it right now, my life is exactly the same. That's why I bought that bag. Other than that, like my jeans are like £20 and shit. I don't really buy nice stuff.
Yeah.
I spend money on convenience, man. I like not having to make a decision based on how much it costs. Just the thing I want to do. And I don't really want to do shit that's that expensive, you know?
I really, really relate to that. Like, just protecting your peace as well and energy. Like, if I'm going to go out of my way to do something, I want to make it as, like, stress-free as possible, and I want to, like, maximize the satisfaction.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, like, what's the fucking point of...
Agreed.
Of the slog day to day?
Agreed.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to something else, because we've got about 9 minutes, and I just want to quickly cover it. LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We won't go into it too much, but... How have you, if you had to summarize, in the last year, grown so fast on LinkedIn? And what's the secret to generating leads? Because that's essentially what you do, right, for your clients.
Yeah. So I think, first of all, I'd say I haven't grown fast at all. Like, I've been focused on LinkedIn for 2 years, maybe kind of half posted on it for another 6 months before that. And I'm only at, 27K followers? I think all of you lot are beating me. Lara's on we all start at the same time. Lara's on 150. Crazy. You're on 40 something. Niall's coming close to 40 something. Everyone's like smashing me for followers and likes and shit. I'm well behind everyone. But it's because from day one, I jumped on LinkedIn and I remember, in fact, I won't say their name, but there was a bunch of people that had a lot of followers, 10K plus. So I booked in calls I said, I'm going to speak to 50 people and I'm going to ask them all what they know.
Yeah.
44 out of those 50 people, the conversation went like this. Oh, your brand is really good. First of all, it was weird they booked in with me because 10K followers on Instagram, no one's chatting to me. But on LinkedIn, everyone seemed to have time in their diary. Yeah. Well, that's odd. I thought you lot would be busy. But anyway, I got onto calls with them. And the conversation literally for 44 people went like this. Oh, your brand is really good. Your content's really good. How are you writing the content? How are you doing all this? They had loads to say. And then I get to the end of the conversation. I say, so how are you making money from it? Silence. I've not worked that bit out yet. There was one guy I spoke to, 13K followers. And he told me, after giving me all this advice about how to make money on LinkedIn, he'd never made a single sale. He had generated absolutely zero the whole time. Then, around the same kind of time, I speak to this one woman, I'm doing outreach. She's getting 4 likes a post. She doesn't seem that good at LinkedIn. Yeah. So I messaged her thinking, right, it's going to be an easy one. Oh, how's your LinkedIn going? Your content seems really good, but it's not getting a lot of engagement. She's like, yeah, the engagement's pretty low. It's like, yeah, so you're probably not like getting any leads or anything. She's like, no, I got about 20 a month. I was like, what do you mean?
Insane.
A connection isn't a lead. A lead. She's like, no. And she showed me a Calendly. And she said she closed 5 of them. And she showed me how much money she was making. And she was getting 4 likes a post. She was doing like some finance shit. It's because she fucking knew how to do finance shit. Like the way she wrote about it, you don't write about it in this way unless you know how to do this shit. Yeah. And those 2 bits of evidence were like, right, I know a bunch of people getting shitloads of likes and they're literally broke. Yeah. And I know this woman that knows nothing about LinkedIn, couldn't write a hook to save her life. And she's booking 20 meetings a month. And I was like, I'm not doing that shit. I'm doing this shit. So in the beginning, you scroll back, I used to kind of get more likes than I'm getting now. I know how to write posts to get 300, 400, 500 likes, but they weren't making me money, man. So now my follower count is low, but we book anywhere from 40 to 60 leads every single month. And we're trying to push it to 100. That's the 60 is the kind of roof we're trying to get to. Yeah. I booked in a call one time with a guy. He was doing ghostwriting like me. He was charging 5K a month. I was charging 1K a month. I was stuck on 17 leads that month. I remember this specifically. I got 17 leads that month. And I've been stuck there for a few months. I was thinking, maybe you just can't do more than that. Like, maybe it's not reasonable to get more than 17 leads a month. So I got on a call and I asked him, how many leads you got? He said 9. And I said, how many you got this month? He got 17. And his mind was fucking blown. He was charging 5 times more than me and his mind was blown. He didn't believe me. He asked me to show him 17 people booking in my diary. That was way back. Now we're doing anywhere up to 60 a month. I'm not growing in terms of followers. It's just not the goal. Instagram, different story. It's just brand. Sure, I do want to grow in terms of followers. But on LinkedIn, the only thing I measure is what posts are getting people to book a sales call with me and how many of those people are qualified. That's the metric. And so the week where I got 10 people to book in, write more of that content, irrespective of the reach or the likes or the comments or whatever.
I agree completely. I think at the beginning there was maybe like a handful of 10 people who were really like in the personal branding space. It's kind of like the people you mentioned a little bit as well. The range of following across those 10 people
it's been huge.
Is insane.
Yeah.
But equally, I agree. I had that goal. I was like 100 a year ago. I was like 100K by end of 2024. I'm not even like near 50 yet.
I've noticed us all one by one go for followers and then and honestly, I think the reason I was the first to do it is because you lot were so much better at the follower shit. Like, your content was so much better. And I was like, right, I'm not competing with that guy, because the way you do personal brand, like, in my opinion, you are top of the game personal branding. Like, I don't know anyone that in that niche of like building brand, getting recognition for a thing, I just don't know anyone better at it. And I was learning from you, and I was writing that shit down. I was like, I'm not gonna beat this guy. Like, and Niall, the way he thinks about marketing and builds systems, he's fucking excellent at it. Yeah, he's so like, I'm not gonna beat this guy. Lara is unbelievable at farming engagement. I don't know 1,000 likes every single fucking post for months. I'm not gonna beat her. Like, I can't play that game. I'm gonna play a different game. I'm gonna try to get people to book into my diary.
So smart though to like find that like one specific thing. And I like look at your content now, and I'm like I asked for some of your time like a few weeks ago, because I was like, I want to learn what this guy is doing now, because I don't think the engagement stuff, it was great at the beginning. 3 years ago on LinkedIn, you could write a piss poor post and it would, it could go viral. Yeah. Like the algorithm was built for just mass engagement.
Yeah.
It's not the same anymore. It's way more competitive. To be noticed is much harder, and then therefore to nurture and then convert is even harder, because you're not getting the eyeballs in the first place. Like I tested it. I like look at the same number of likes across a post this year versus 3 years ago, right? And the number of impressions from like this year, even if the likes are the same, is like 10% of what it used to be.
Yeah.
So if the attention isn't there, or the reach, then how do you nurture and convert? And that's what you've absolutely nailed. And there's no point to this. Well, I'm just kind of gassing you up now. But like, but my point is, there's loads of people who come to me still to this day and say, like, I want to blow up my engagement. And that's all they say. And if you just want to build a brand for vanity reasons, that's fine. I can help you do that. But I think it's way more important to like come to LinkedIn with a goal. And you obviously found your goal, which was lead gen, build a team, get clients, sign, convert.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the thing I'll say is, I do think there's value in brand. I just think it doesn't apply to most people. When I'm a 7-figure business owner and I've got 80K coming in, I can slap $2,000 a month on brand.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to make me any money directly, but it's probably worth spending $2,000 so that more people want to work for my company, so that when clients take sales calls with me, they see my content and they like me a bit more. There's value in it. You can't measure a brand.
Very hard.
Of all the, if you go direct response marketing, right? Like, you send an email, how many people respond to that email? Measurable. And then you go all the way to the other end of the spectrum, which is brand. I can't really measure it at all. Yeah. Brand is the most valuable. It's just the hardest to measure. So when you're small, you need the one where I send 100 emails and I see how many people opened it, how many people responded to it, how many of those people I got into a call, how many were qualified, how many I got to a close stage, how many signed and paid me. Yeah. You need that, because that's the thing that you can then, okay, so 100 gets me this many signs, so then 200, 300, 400. But then as you get bigger, you can afford to spend on things that you can't measure as strongly. Exactly. I think brand is a useful thing, but it is a luxury. Like, even the stage my business is at now, I'm just not interested in the brand at all. But when we get to the 7-figure point, it probably is worth putting out some posts that I'm not quite sure are directly making me money, but attract people that want to work with us and attract us new clients and do the other stuff that matters, but I can't measure,
I think that's definitely like the right way to do it. And I think I'm like the same at this point as well. Like me, I grew fast, and then I like descaled a bit, because I want to like re-strategize and be more intentional with where I'm going. So yeah, you actually like, I read your content. I don't read a lot of people's content, to be honest, but I stopped to read yours.
Thank you.
So credit to you for that. Right, we're short on time. So where can people find you?
LinkedIn, Ethan Golden, Golding, because I'm not Scottish. But yeah.
And final question, because I ask everybody this. Yep. What is an unpopular opinion or belief that you have that one day, to some people could potentially get you cancelled? Any hot takes, unpopular opinions, be bold.
Nah, I can't be too controversial. I went to an event the other day, and before I got on the stage, Saf said to me, I was going to say some controversial shit, but I don't mean to. I just have opinions about stuff. Oh, I don't know. Give me a minute.
That's fine. And it could be about LinkedIn. It could be about entrepreneurship. Any like bad advice or things people say that will irk you, piss you off. Maybe you're just like too zen and calm and at peace.
I don't think. Oh, I don't know if this is controversial, which probably means it is. I believe deeply to my core that money is energetic. Like if you are someone that holds on to money, it will not come to you. I believe if you're someone who wants to increase the amount they earn, okay, increase the amount of money coming to them, it's in our best interest to spend as much of it as quickly as possible. Like money flows through us. And so if I'm someone that wants to hold on to money, I'm stopping more coming. Because if I'm someone that actively looks for opportunities to give a little bit extra to the waiter or pay for some coaching or investment or just buy stuff to make my life more convenient, I'm becoming someone that money flows through. And I don't know, that sounds kind of bullshit and wishy-washy, but it's working for me so far. So
I like it. Anyway, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to Rebels podcast with me, Shoaib Ahmed. If you've been watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you've been listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, then please give us a 5-star rating and a follow. The more successful this podcast gets, the bigger and better guests we can have on in the future. Thank you.